So as I mentioned in an earlier video, the template that was created for the Anglican Communion by the formation of the province in the United States of America gave rise to a kind of problem, which is that although there was a spiritual interdependence of all the different provinces with one another, there was no way to decide on questions that were of weight for the entire communion. Beginning in the 19th century, the middle part of the 19th century, the design was created for a series of conferences, the Lambeth conferences, that would be able to resolve questions that concerned the entirety of the communion. So the first one of these was in 1867. And these conferences would pass resolutions, which would then be accepted by the various provinces insofar as they wanted to accept the judgment of the church. And the conferences were designed to express, as it were, the mind of the church on any of these questions. So questions related to, for instance, polygamy in the African context. How does the church address that? Would all be addressed at these Lambeth conferences. One of these early Lambeth conferences addressed the question of ecumenism. That is, how it is that the Anglican Church can be related to other expressions of Christianity. What are the key elements of Anglican identity on which we cannot compromise? So there was a theologian in the American context named William Reed Huntington, who developed a document which became profoundly influential in kind of conceptualizing or summarizing what are those key elements of Anglican identity. As this document was received by the Lambeth Conference in the late 1880s, it came to be known as the Chicago-Lambeth Quadrilateral. It had, as the name suggests, 4 elements to it. The first is the Holy Scriptures of the Old and New Testament as the revealed Word of God. The second was the Nicene and the Apostles' Creed as sufficient statements of the Christian faith. The third was the 2 sacraments of baptism and the Lord's Supper, ministered with unfailing use of Christ's words of institution and the elements ordained by him as the sacraments of the Christian faith. And the last one, and the most controversial, was the historic episcopate, locally adapted in the methods of its administration to the varying needs of nations and peoples. So those 4 elements have become majorly influential as a summary statement of Anglican identity, or of the crucial elements of the Anglican way of following Jesus. The Lambeth conferences have continued to the present day, but they've become more and more difficult and fractured as time has gone on, until part of that is a result of the realignments that have happened in the Anglican Communion more broadly, with the formation of provinces in the global south and certain developments in the identity of churches in the West. And I'll talk more about that in the next video.